8th, 2024, and we have a new Ripple Bank partner that's actually been a partnership for 5 years, but this is just now circulating, coming up once again. And as we continue to see Ripple partners just seem to be doing mighty fine these days as they continue to expand, similar to how Ripple continuing to grow, continuing to see the momentum build for the XRP ledger. And Ripple always saying that XRP is the heartbeat of Ripple. That's a direct quote from Brad Garlinghouse, right? Always saying and describing XRP on-demand liquidity as the secret sauce to Ripple payments. You get the banks on board, you get the institutions on board with the remittances in real time with RippleNet, and then we give them a little bit of, a little taste test on the secret sauce, which is the XRP ledger, utilizing XRP as a bridge currency. And that's their on-demand liquidity product that they've now all rolled into Ripple payments. So we're going to talk about that. As always, we're breaking down the current events, decoding the data so that we can understand these financial markets, the economy, and position ourselves perfectly for this opportunity we call the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Folks, I appreciate everyone for stopping by here tonight. We have so much to go through, so I want to get right on into this episode. Before I do, though, I'm going to mention I just really appreciate your support. Whether you just smash that thumbs up for me, whether you share it out far and wide, or whether you go support us with our community resources at my website, zachrector.com. You guys know the deal. I'm here to bring you guys the truth, and let's get on the right side. Yourself, your family, your business, your investments. Let's get it done. Not just talk about it, not just talk about the conspiracy theory, actually apply it to our investment thesis and the business decisions that we're making on a daily basis so that we can have a massive impact, maximize the opportunity that is here presenting itself. We can debate how big the transfer of wealth is going to be. It is undeniable that it is going to be the greatest in the history of the world by many measurements. So without further ado, let's get started here, folks. We have a lot to talk about, and I want to start off by highlighting the fact that we have a $3,000 troy ounce of gold in Canada taking place. Do you guys understand what is happening to the fiat funny money currencies? As I continue to say, the US dollar is the cleanest shirt in the closet, but the house is on fire. The house of fiat funny money is on fire. $3,000 Canadian funny money for 1 ounce of real money, 1 troy ounce. This is a new record closing high. And when we move on over to the charts, folks, we'll expand on it a little bit further. Take a look at what I am sharing here on our charts. We got the DXY was chopping, but back up earlier today to 1047. So the DXY breaking out once again on the shorter time frame. Going to continue to watch it. Moving on over, I wanted to show you gold in US dollar terms. How about that? 2,233. That's where we're at right now. Love to see it as we roll into a Friday. Markets, I believe the markets are closed. Actually, I should have checked that. I'm not sure if the markets are closed to tomorrow or not. They might do a few hours. I'll double check on that later. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. 5,254 for your S&P 500. Back up, right? So this really came in on Wednesday for the stock market for pumping back up. NASDAQ 100 to a new all-time high. It's all new all-time highs for the Dow Jones. I guess the Dow Jones is lagging, or no, that was Thursday the 21st, so not too long ago that the Dow Jones did peak out here once again. Now, we're going to continue to watch this, folks. We have our cryptocurrency market, which was back up today. It was interesting. It chopped throughout the day, and we're zoomed in on the 4-hour chart here, getting a little bit of perspective by keeping a zoomed out back here where you can see where we've been, where we went back down to, as we warned everyone about. Now we've built it back up. A lot of momentum building. What happened today? Sam Bankman-Fried. And I got a video that's going to be dropping here later titled Sam's Little Secret. I'm going to be talking about as much as I possibly can in regards to Sam Bankman-Fried. And so it's back up to 71,500 for the Bitcoin earlier today. And the Bitcoin momentum starting to build, the rest of the cryptocurrency space following behind. XRP right here at 62 cents. We're going to have to continue to watch it. The energy is very, very powerful. And this is what I'm talking about right here, folks. Take a listen in on this one. This is a NATO military general. Take a listen in on what kind of operation we got going on here. You guys know what's picking up. We have NATO, but nonetheless, at NATO, speaking about the NATO drill that's about to go down, listen in on this, folks.
We today announced the kickoff of Exercise Steadfast.
And I'm really sorry that there's the siren in the background. You know, someone was trying to make this video a little bit more dramatic. My apologies. Okay.
Defender 2024, which commences next week and runs through May. Steadfast Defender 24 will be the largest NATO exercise in decades, with participation from approximately 90,000 forces from all 31 allies, plus our good partner, Sweden. The alliance will demonstrate its ability to reinforce the Euro-Atlantic area via transatlantic movement of forces from North America. This reinforcement will occur during a simulated emerging conflict scenario against a near-peer adversary. Steadfast Defender 24 will be a clear demonstration of our unity, our strength, and our determination to protect each other, to protect, of course, our values and the rules-based international order.
Okay, my apologies for the siren. I don't know why people have to make that. You know, I get it. You got to make the video dramatic, do a little music. I used to do that all the time on TikTok. I know all about that, right? But that siren was a little obnoxious, I think. But you guys get the message. The largest NATO drill done in decades? Folks, if you're not getting prepared right now, you're going to get left behind, not only on the transfer of wealth and the money to be made, but I'm talking about just trying to survive this situation right now, folks, because the supply chain and the critical infrastructure is what's under attack. The markets are delusional and are still pumping. That party's about to come and get checked here as well shortly. Over 1,600 planes affected by mysterious GPS jamming across Europe. Systems, infrastructure, critical infrastructure, right? Our grid. You're talking about lights going out. You're talking about systems going down. You're talking about attacks. You're talking about hacks. And it's not fun. You see, it's so funny. I've been thinking about this lately. I'm like, remember when we were called conspiracy theorists? You know, and for me, it's not about being in the doomsday bunker like Zuckerberg, right? Zuckerberg's building his bunker. I'm, a little jealous. It's probably a nice setup, right? That's great. The change that we're going through right now. See, what we do over here is we understand the old world and the new world. We got physical and we got digital. And this is doing over here, and they think that we just sit on our XRP and pray every night that David Schwartz is going to flip the switch. That's never been our program. And I've been talking about my moves as much as I can put out in the open, right? I wish I could read reporting their 2023 results, a debt payment after apartment sales dropped. Country Garden said sales have come under remarkable pressure and were down 44% in the first 9 months of 2023. In September, Country Garden sales plummeted 81% to just $846 million. What is happening with real estate in China? See, it wasn't just Evergrande, and this is why a lot of folks want to say, oh, these were crazy. This was all, just whack job theories, right? No, it was just, one example. And when you look in deeper, you can see that it was about to break, and it's not just one firm, it's not just one institution, it's not just one bank. Same thing applies to the regional banking crisis taking place here in the United States and the terrible balance sheets that these banks have. The hundreds of billions of unrealized losses and trillions of dollars worth of debt that needs to be restructured in the next couple years. It's a serious problem in the United States, worldwide, and it's all being driven by our Federal Reserve raising rates and controlling with the U.S. dollar reserve currency and the largest military known to man. Now, speaking of our situation back here in the good old U.S. of A., well, we have real estate data coming out here today. Pending home sales inch up in February. Realtors are worried about U.S. home prices rising faster than incomes. So this is the situation right now, folks. We're starting to see a little bit of activity pick up, but this is normal for this time of year, right? As we enter the spring selling season. And we've been highlighting, this is on existing, this is not on new homes. We highlighted how new homes are down from the peak price in 2022 down to where they're at right now, over about 90,000, right? They were nearly at 500,000 for your average new home, but now prices have crashed down to about 400,000. Right. So this is a real estate reset. I dropped a real estate update earlier this morning, and I've created a new playlist on my YouTube channel titled Real Estate Reset. That's the best way that I can describe what's taking place in the real estate market. And so while this is going on, I'm going to just, keep the playlist titled that and keep dropping the videos on the real estate asset class, because we all need a roof over our head, right? And talk about it's I try to get through it and then get to the positive. A lot of folks just call me a moon boy, and thesis is right. Yeah, we're going to make a boatload of money in middle class. Thesis is right. Yeah, we're going to make a boatload of money in middle class that can't get a leg up, can't get caught up. I understand. And, in regards to it, my thing has been understanding where we can bring value. A lot of folks thought they were going to be a real estate investor. A lot of folks thought they were going to be an entrepreneur. We had a participation trophy economy. We no longer do. And so you need to really understand where you bring value to the marketplace. A lot of folks thought they were bringing value. No, you were participating in a participation trophy economy. And so the real estate reset, that's the best way to describe it, because some markets are still going up. Some markets are actually going down substantially. And commercial real estate's the worst. And the exposure to the regional banks and the ongoing banking crisis is going to be fueled by commercial real estate, along with, I believe that we will get some issues in the residential, as we're starting to see. In the markets that were making people actually pay their bills faster, right? Some states did additional foreclosure programs and actually stalled up that process. But now we're seeing some states where it's just a flood of inventory coming online. And then also some cities, some metros where we're seeing a flood of new construction. So this is why, for me, it's about going through the current events, the financial markets, and how do we position ourselves. I want you guys to take a look at this, because it's now finally starting to hit the mainstream, and folks are starting to realize, wow, this program's not working out. And I know that they want to make this political, but the idea, the mentality that I have is not to expect any president to come save the day for me, right? My mentality right now has been go to your boss and make sure that the company's still going to be around. Don't be afraid to ask the question, hey, boss, how are we doing? In a respectful way, in an appropriate setting, right? Don't be silly about it. But seriously, are we going to make it through this thing? 39,000 lost jobs undercut Biden's manufacturing wins. Like I said, this isn't politics. This is, this is a complete setup of the American industrial renaissance. Lies. It's all lies. You guys know that. But the bounty of jobs hasn't landed in swing states crucial to his re-election bid. In the heartland, right? Look at this. Factory jobs over here. You guys can see this chart right here. Factory jobs percentage change since 1979. Manufacturing peak. We're down about 33% on our manufacturing employment. Now, he wants to talk about all these plants that are now getting built. What he does have robots doing it here than somewhere else, if it means, good business in some jobs, right? Well, at this point, we got to take what we can get. And as we've been saying, it's all going to come back to the real economy. Commodities, we're so bullish on the commodities. It's no surprise that we see gold at all-time highs. Other commodities like coca, are all-time high. And this is what we've been talking about. It's all going back to the real economy. And unfortunately, despite the lies that they want to perpetuate from the White House, it's a different story in the heartland of America. Workers at Milwaukee's Master Lock factory stood to make $100,000 or more a year just a decade ago as they helped churn out the padlocks that secure America's school lockers and backyard sheds. But now the plant signals a soft spot in President Joe Biden's economic pitch for re-election. That's because on Friday, Master Lock is shuttering the 85-year-old facility for good, shifting production to Mexico, China, and North Carolina, and erasing hundreds of union jobs in a predominantly black neighborhood. And see, this is what I'm saying. This type of news, folks, is not pleasant to report on, but I want to keep it real with you guys, right? I'm not here to parade, and despite the fact that they call me a moon boy, right? We get down to the real data here. What's actually happening on Main Street? And it's a completely different reality from what the mainstream media setup is pitching us. And so when you go down here, they show the states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, apparently he won these states too, right? Wisconsin, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, we are seeing an uptick. In Phoenix, Arizona, I saw the big plant that they got building up there in a little bit north of Phoenix. They got a big, massive $1 billion plant that they're building out there. I did get to see that while I was out in Scottsdale, checking out the Phoenix metro area. So yeah, that was good. One plan out there that was great. But as we continue to see here, the loss of these manufacturing jobs, and this all goes back to real estate. This is all ripple effects. All jokes aside, because like I said, it's not pleasant to know what is coming to America once again. This time it is different. This time it's worse. This time it's different debt. This time it's more debt, commercial real estate, right? And you also have a transition to jobs that are being gone forever. It's not just a typical recession where jobs are being, taken back and maybe potentially have the chance of coming back. These are jobs that are gone forever through what's happening with the robotics, AI, and everything else. Unique setup here that we find ourselves in, and many folks are not prepared for it at all. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried did get 25 years today. His sentencing did take place. 25 years for Sam Bankman-Fried. Over $10 billion worth of fraud has occurred there. I think the number is actually a lot larger. And I didn't even read through the full sentencing deal, but we're going to see an appeal on this, right? Most likely we'll see an appeal. Sam Bankman-Fried's going to argue for less. I expect that, yeah, he's going to get maybe 10 years, right? He's going to get out at some point, and he's going to get back out onto the outside. And it just goes to show, and what I'm about to show you guys next, that if you have enough money, you can be heard in DC. Unlike us regular Americans that build our own businesses that just work for our families every day, and when we try to get heard, it's drowned out. It's not even acknowledged, right? When you have enough money, you can pull up to DC, and this is what we saw with Sam Bankman-Fried playing Buddy, the little bankster boy crypto version for the DC elite. Both sides of the aisle have sold us out. This isn't political. This is save our country conversation. This is let's put our adult big boy and big girl pants on, or big whatever the hell you want to be, and let's get something done. Folks, let's help John Deaton get elected. And so in every one of my videos right now, I got John Deaton's website linked up in my description down below if you guys are looking to support John Deaton. And this is why we need to get behind John Deaton. Although I'm very excited for what this might do for the XRP community, representing us so well. Let's save America, right? This is way bigger than XRP, way bigger than crypto. Let's save America. And let's knock this nonsense off. Elizabeth Warren coming in to blame crypto once again, when Sam Bankman-Fried's story is all about fraud, and it's all about DC elite fraud and corruption. So don't act like this is a crypto problem. No, this is a DC elite problem. Sam Bankman-Fried stole customer money and threw it at lawmakers to try to advance his crimes. It's time white-collar criminals are held to account, but lawmakers are still pushing his schemes. We need tough rules to crack down on crypto crime. What does this even mean? It's time white-collar crimes are held to account, but lawmakers are still pushing his schemes. Are you talking about Sam Bankman's schemes, right? Well, what about the legit and responsible and the adults in the room of Ripple that have tried to show up and do the right thing, have set up an office in DC to make a connection with the regulators, and they get sued? Meanwhile, buddy Sam Bankman-Fried, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it along with your donors. And let's talk about this because it's not just the crypto problem. You want to talk about money pouring into DC? Let's talk about it. Would be an absolute pleasure. Elizabeth, we know you got a plan for it, Warren. And we know your plan is the complete opposite of what the regular average American who just wants life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness wants. And you've had a chance with your program. How long has she been a senator for? Folks, this is our time. We are leading the charge with John Deaton and others, leading the charge, this resistance. This is the time right now to keep up the pressure, folks, because I tell you right now, Camp Warren is in full pain. They're supposed to be all good. We're not supposed to question their reserves, and we know why they get the clean pass, right? But finally now, we are seeing US and UK probe 20 billion of crypto transfers to Russian exchange. This one's from Bloomberg. Allies review Tether transfers to sanctioned exchange, Garantex. This is in Russia. Tether says it works with law enforcement to ensure compliance. You guys let me know what you think about this one in the comments down below, folks. Now, this is 20 billion of cryptocurrency transactions that have passed through the Russia-based virtual exchange. That's pretty substantial, right? $20 billion. Okay. And so it's going to be how far they dig, right, with this probe into Tether, 20 billion of the flows. And we'll see what kind of slap on the wrist Tether ends up getting, or maybe they do end up. It seems like it's just going to be extortion for everybody who wants to participate until Congress passes legislation. That's where we're at in the United States, right? Everyone understands that. It's a matter of extortion. And even if you try to do the right things, even if you try to be within the law, it's still a matter of extortion. Now, if you're a criminal like Sam Bankman-Fried or CZ, then you cut billion-dollar checks. You disgorge billions of dollars. I believe that Sam Bankman has to forfeit $11 billion. So, this is what you got to do if you want to pay to play at that level. Now, with Tether, right, they can cut a big fat check. We know Ripple can too. And the thing about it, consider this. Ripple's the ones, there's no fraud alleged. There's no fraud being charged. There's nothing there. There's no fraud, right? It is simply a simple infraction, a speeding ticket. It's a speeding ticket. Is equivalent to what Ripple has done. It's the equivalence of a speeding ticket, literally. But it goes to show, right? We're seeing they're finally coming in, and they're coming in and they're trying to go after the big boys and girls first, right? And I've been saying, we've been warning about the token factory, these kids, and I was thinking about this earlier today too. So many people don't even understand. I continuously would bring up the legal conversation in crypto spaces. I'd show up in Bitcoin spaces. I show up in other spaces. I have conversations with people, right? All these different projects. I watch all these other projects in the entire digital asset space. Literally none of them think about the law other than Circle and a few others. I mean, Tether has been having their run-ins with the law, we could say, right? They've been cutting settlement checks. They've been paying to play, and right, they've been allowed to print their tethers, do their deal. They've shown some shady audits at best, right? And they've been allowed to continue. But there's very few operations that actually have a legal department, right? Think about the law. Most of this space has no consideration, and that's why they don't understand what's taking place right now with, the potential for Ethereum and proof of stake networks to be classified as a security. And you have to understand what just came down in the Coinbase case yesterday with the judge ruling, that basically using Solana as an example of an underlying asset that might be a security. Now, this is still the early phase, and this was a motion to dismiss being denied, which most people thought it would. It's very far to get a motion dismissed. The judge denied the motion to dismiss, but she specifically brought up, or he or she, I don't know, but they specifically brought up Solana as an example of a crypto asset that might be a security. They had 13 other coins, right? It was like 12, 13 coins total. They chose Solana as an example. And meanwhile, we got pre-sale season happening on Solana with another massive hype cycle for Solana. And I'm very happy for everybody that's made money on that. I'm not here to tell you what to do with Solana or give you any sort of financial advice. I've just been calling it a VC pump and up from the beginning. I haven't participated in it, but for everybody that made their money, and that's great. And this is what folks need to understand, is that the VCs have been controlling this space even without regulations, right? They're pumping narratives, they're pushing things, they're investing in the space. I was just listening to Mark Yusko from Morgan Creek Digital, right, with Anthony Pompliano, Anthony Pump It Up Pompliano, Bitcoin pumper. Huge shout out to Pomp. We know back in the day he used to like XRP. Deep down inside, he's another one of those closet XRP supporters, right? But I was listening to Mark Yusko talk about how 80% of the investments that they're making in the digital asset space is in private equity in companies. And only about 20% of it is in the digital assets themselves. So while they remain incredibly bullish, and he predicts that Bitcoin will go to, I think, 150 this cycle, he's positioned in 80% of the tools and the space around it, right? Not necessarily the underlying assets, which I think that, a lot of folks just think that there's, that this is all for real, that this isn't all just pure manipulation and speculation driving this thing 90% of the space. 90% of the space is trying to buy a token for a price today that they can sell for higher later. End of story. There's very few people that, like I said, are thinking about the legal battlefield and considerations and who are actually building real utility and solving real problems and actually using the token for said utilities. Right. So let's not beat around the bush. Let's not pretend like, there's a lot of narratives and there's a lot of, let's get behind this thing. And even BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said that this space, right, is going to transcend traditional currencies. And this is why now they talk down while they load it up. And now they're taking this thing and they're trying to dominate with the most amount of assets under management in the world. And they just became the fastest growing ETF, amassing 13.5 billion in just 11 weeks. Larry Fink is bullish on Bitcoin as IBIT holds 17.1 billion in Bitcoin. Spot Bitcoin ETF market grows, exceeding 34.1 billion across 9 issuers. So this thing took off like a rocket. And you can hear in Larry Fink in his interviews, right? He says that now they're warning that the ETF hype is about to basically sell off now that they've pumped up their bags. And this is why I've been warning about. A lot of folks were excited, and it's the double-edged sword. Yes, Wall Street's coming in. They pump us back up to 70,000, and we go set a new all-time high for Bitcoin pre-halving. That's fantastic. This is setting us up for that next sacrifice. We've already had a big pullback, and I think that we're due for another one. And so, once again, without a doubt, whether the markets go up or down, the game that these guys are playing is keep the assets under management. And this is why I'm saying he says he can't talk about an XRP ETF. These guys are going to be all over it. This is all these guys live for. It's a game to them, right? It's about legacy. It's not enough that they're billionaires. It's not enough that they control and rig markets. It's about the power, right, of being able to do what they do. And they're absolutely going to be fighting over like sharks, sniffing a little bit of blood in the water over this space. And Bitcoin was just the start. And Bitcoin, like the CEO of Franklin Templeton says, right, the greatest distraction to the greatest disruption. It's just that simple. The greatest distraction to the greatest disruption. That's what Bitcoin is. Nonetheless, Larry Fink and the boys at BlackRock, they're cashing out pretty heavy, aren't they? Now, as we titled this episode here today, we have a new Ripple partner, an oldie. Well, it's a new one, but actually one that's been around for 5 years, right? But for whatever reason, Ripple decides to drop this video here today, sharing and highlighting this partnership here once again. This is SCB Thailand, a bank out of Thailand, right? A lot of people always been saying, right, Ripple doesn't have banks. Well, we beg to differ. Not only do they have this bank, we've highlighted how they have 10 central banks are already on. Think of how stupid this is. We are arguing with people that try to tell us that Ripple doesn't have banks when we know for a fact of 5 publicly disclosed partnerships with central banks. And we know of 5 others as well, and also 20 other conversations that are taking place. And that was last year. Who knows how much it's grown since? And who knows how many other banks we got? Remember, in the SEC's own words, Ripple had to disclose that they've sold to 80 institutions after the lawsuit was filed. So just within the last few years, they've sold XRP to another 80 institutions. I wonder if any are banks. Well, we have this video that was shared here for SCB. This means 1 minute processing time, 80,000 monthly transactions, 400 million monthly P2P, that's peer-to-peer remittance settlement. They're moving money. And listen in, what's so important to take from this video is the ease, how easy and simple Ripple makes this for all of their clients, banks included.
In this period, a financial institution is very prone for the disruptive technology. And being the conventional bank, SCB would like to transform ourselves to become one of the digital banks that could success and survive in the future. Hello, my name is Thanawat Kittisawan. I'm the head of Global Transactional Banking Services of SCB Thailand. In 2021, we get about 1 million transactions. And in this year, 2022, I think we're going to reach 2 million by this year end. Currently, we are serving 8 countries with 13 partners. The countries that we are serving, like UK, Japan, Singapore, and we are planning to grow to Australia as well. SEB has been partnering with Ripple for almost 5 years. Actually, during these 5 years that we become the partner with Ripple, one of the most advantage thing is that we could grow our remittance volume. We could plug in with the new partnership of Ripple globally without much of the effort by having more transactional and also making more of the revenue services together. There's a very big benefit in terms of convenience and also the cheap remittance fee. Instead of waiting for a few days for the remittance, this could be done within a minute. When we check with the traditional rail, we could save around 7 times cheaper than the normal rail that we are using. Positive outcome that SEB is working Ripple is that we could obtain the very low remittance fee with the timely and high-speed remittance for our customers. The reason why we think that SEB and Ripple are the very good match partner is that we have the same vision and aligned well with our strategies to become the leaders of the financial services in the future world. Ripple and SEB has very good alignment in terms of vision and in terms of the capability of both sides that could grow market together. So we believe that if we are growing together, we could achieve our big target.
He said big target, right? Big target. We're going after the big ones. We're not playing around like these kids with their little Mickey Mouse coins and the haters in the chat that always show up and they're just nipping in the chat. I see that we're getting bugged up right now. They're hacking the chat. We got a little bit too lit tonight, didn't we? We were too over the target tonight, weren't we? I hope that it's going good. Maybe you have to refresh the stream if you're having any issues. I hope that... oh, wow. Yeah, it's hacking up. It's chopping up bad for me. I don't know if you guys can hear me right now. Like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think it's... Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, we'll try to get through this. Oh, now it says I'm muted. Oh, okay, good. Okay. My apologies, guys. I don't know what's going on with the system tonight. Nonetheless, I'm going to make sure that we are good to go. I saw that Peaky dropped that super chat. Okay, it's back. Okay. Guys, I'm telling you, this has been something else. This journey that we've been on together, just trying to bring the truth out, it's crazy, man. I try my best to dance around, but sometimes we dance a little too good, don't we? Now, this is what I was going to show you here next, folks. This is David Schwartz. He's talking about creating a private parallel network of CBDCs that direct connects to the main XRP ledger. And that's exactly what I'm saying. We got these haters and these folks that want to say the Ripple doesn't have banks. No, we have dozens of banks, right? We have dozens of central banks. We clearly have other banks, and we have 1,700 contracts. We have, 4 institutions that had a pre-allocation contract that we can know of and can confirm from the SEC's own brief, right? The $200 million that Ripple collected after the lawsuit in a pre-allocation contract that was secured before the lawsuit, that's confirmation of pre-allocation. And then the haters say that there's no demand for XRP. I beg to differ when the SEC cites Ripple having to disclose that they've sold XRP to, 80 institutions after the lawsuit, right? So clearly there's something going on here. But I want you guys to listen in because this is very important. A lot of folks want to say, well, the central banks aren't using the XRP ledger mainnet, the public version. They're using a private version, right? Well, listen in because as I've been saying, David Schwartz describing here how you can just tap in to the public mainnet XRPL when you need to. And we're going to talk about after this clip why you would need to talk into the mainnet is the AMM. And we're going to talk on that here in just 1 second. Listen in on this one, folks.
Ripple CBDC solution enables central banks to create a private parallel network, a permissioned blockchain that you can issue a CBDC on, and then you can connect that to the main public XRP ledger. Our vision is to solve for interoperability between CBDCs while creating a virtual lab for central banks to experiment with new features. The transactions are verified by the same consensus protocol used by the XRP ledger, which is less energy intensive, cheaper, and over 120,000 times more efficient than things like proof of work. Major first step in providing central banks with a secure, controlled, and flexible solution. Imagine every major institution in the world able to settle every major fiat asset with every other institution in a compatible jurisdiction in seconds for less than a penny. And I'll say that again in case you missed it. Imagine every major institution in the world able to settle every major fiat asset with every other institution in a compatible jurisdiction in seconds for less than a penny. That is a very, very big deal. Another Ripple CBDC.
You know, it sounds pretty dang good to me, David, right? I mean, guys, this is something that you don't see. You know, this is only once in a lifetime, this reset of the financial system that we are going through. And Ripple is spearheading it. It's so clear. They can run disinformation. They can run misinformation. They can try to show you the next shiny object that's going to pass you by, whether it's an NFT or a token or whatever they got to sell you. But we've been honing in on the real value, the real utility. And as you guys can see here, it's without a doubt who is furthest along with real adoption, not just talking about doing something, real adoption. Now listen in on this video right here, folks. This is Ryan Rugg, Global Head of Digital Assets at Citi, talking about the AMM, the Automated Market Maker. Let's listen in.
And how do you solve for that interoperability question? Maybe I'll put that to the middle of the middle of the panel to start with, and then work my way out to the edges.
I think about what we're doing with the regulated liability network with RLN and working with 12 other banks. We, concluded the US one in July, and we're working with the UK one now. Really helps to not just from a technical, but from a legal accounting, what is the proper framework for this to exist and how could it work, right? How can you build out that FMI that is not owned by one entity, right, but is for the interests of the people and the corporations in it? And, we've published a paper on it and it is feasible. And I think thanks. You still need an AMA in the middle, like an automated market maker to kind of mint and burn and exchange the tokens. But I do think that interoperability is key in the future, not just from a protocol standpoint.
An AMM, you say? Well, good news. We just fixed ours. The AMM update your infrastructure to Ripple D 2.11 as soon as possible to ensure you are not amendment blocked. So there you have it, folks. And this guy, he's always been trying to hate on XRP and Ripple scams, right? Why do you think Ripple is reposting old videos from 2 years ago? Cash to pulling up with the receipts. This clown trying to run to another thread to spread FUD. Oh boy. And Cash to shows us right here. RippleNet's ODL. This is a partnership right here. Let me make sure you guys can see that, right? Yeah, you can see that. Perfect. Okay. This is from Nextra. And this is Asmos using RippleNet's on-demand liquidity, which uses XRP, right? Since joining RippleNet, Asmo has been able to connect with the new customers like SCB, the one that we showed the clip of earlier, right? And additionally, customers can leverage RippleNet's ODL service, which uses the digital asset XRP to source liquidity on demand and avoid pre-funding international accounts. Continuing on, what do we got here? This is Navati and Ripple's partnership began in December 2020 with an initial focus on targeting cross-border transactions between Australia and the Southeast Asia region. In April this year, Navati tapped on RippleNet's on-demand liquidity service for remittances between Australia and Philippines, leveraging XRP for instant cross-border payments. With this expansion to Thailand, a little trip to Thailand, you say? Novati has partnered with the first Thai bank, Siam Commercial Bank, SCB, the one that we've been talking about, right? Through RippleNet. This is expected to result in thousands of transactions a month being processed by Novati through RippleNet. Revenue from this partnership is dependent on taking up of the services. So, folks, you can see here very clearly, we've been battling these narratives, and it's interesting because we've reached an inflection point, and we're going to be doing some Q&A right now. By the way, guys, drop your comments and questions down below. We've reached an inflection point where not only have we been, proven right, but the acceleration of this process of lifting the curtain, lifting the veil, and letting the masses get kind of caught up to speed on what's taking place. I see another super chat from Lee. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it. XRP is up. Jesus Coin is rising. Have a great Easter weekend. God bless. God bless you, my friend Lee. I have not bought Jesus Coin yet because when I went to buy Jesus Coin, I saw how much ETH gas fees I was going to have to pay. And to me, in the digital asset space, that is blasphemy. And so I will not be doing that, right? To pay that in gas fees, right? That is blasphemy. There's my joke back at you for the night, I guess. And huge shout out to Peaky Blinder. I also saw that you dropped that 20 spot Peaky. Thank you so much, brother. Lee, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the Jesus Coin community and you guys spreading the gospel. That's great. Now, let's get into Q&A, folks. Let's talk about it, right? Because I just continue to show up here on a daily basis, and I'm trying to bring it for you guys. I dropped a couple videos earlier today. You probably missed them because only a couple thousand people watch these videos that I dropped this morning on real estate and precious metals, but I will not relent. I will not quit. I don't care if it's not as sexy as crypto. I'm bringing the value, and we're going to talk about it. Everybody needs a roof over their head of some form or fashion, right? And so whether we're looking to rent, whether we're looking to buy, or whether we're looking to invest, we got to figure out this game. We got to figure out the real estate asset class. It's a great place to protect wealth. Not only is it very tax favored, but it's a good hedge against inflation to, treating land like a commodity, right? And essentially a house too being a packaged up commodity as well, right? It's a series of commodities packaged up. And so an ability to lock this in using the 30-year fixed to get yourself into a deal, whether you're doing the house hack program, whether you are, looking to even invest, or if you're looking to just figure out how to, what to do with the equity you got on your existing home. We're going to continue bringing the real estate updates. So make sure you guys check out that updated playlist, Real Estate Reset. And then I dropped a video earlier today titled Gold Being Used as a Weapon of, Financial Mass Destruction. And basically what we're seeing right now is gold is being accumulated from the West out east into Russia, China, and then other countries in BRICS. They're starting to do trade deals outside the dollar. They're dropping the bonds. We did the video yesterday on the Japanese yen crashing to a level that we haven't seen in 34 years. And so it's happening. Gold's at an all-time high. Gold's at $3,000 Canadian. I enjoy taking the fam up to Canada because we still got a good exchange rate. Even though everything is very expensive and jacked up there, at least we got the exchange rate to help us out a little bit. No, Med, I'm not going to participate in the fraud. I'm not going to participate in the corruption and the hijacking of our capital markets. That's why I don't invest in Ethereum. That's why I don't invest in Bitcoin. That's why I don't buy ERC20 tokens. That's why I don't participate in that. Because to me, that's going against what our country's, what we need to be fighting for is saving capital markets, is creating a level playing field, not picking winners and losers, and not allowing the fraud to run rampant. And it's really, you look at these other ecosystems, the layer twos on Ethereum have done so well. And to me, I've never said, these projects are going to be the ETH killer. I've always said we're going to see cumulatively all of these projects are going to become, what is an ETH killer. Ethereum will be replaced by all these layer 2s or all these other networks, right? And you're starting to see, look at the ecosystem of smart contracts that's being built out around the XRP ledger right now. You got Flare, you got Evernode, you got Zahao, you got Corium. Corium just did their bridge. Now we have Axeler. Axeler is going to connect us to 60 other blockchains, including Ethereum, Arbitrum, and all that other stuff. And so, I think that we're perfectly set up here. And if those are going to be the smart contract platforms, that's fantastic, right? For me, what's the biggest problem? Liquidity. So when it comes to real utility, solving a real problem, liquidity is the biggest by far. In a lot of these other projects, I worry about the legal issues that they are potentially facing. A lot of these projects did ICOs. A lot of these projects are doing pre-sales. A lot of these projects are not decentralized. And so, for me, I just don't participate in the Ethereum token factory Ponzi scheme of fraud that is part of hijacking our country's capital markets, and for Bitcoin, it's just, I'm good on Bitcoin. Zach speaks Spanish. I didn't do too well in Spanish. I was not well versed in the Spanish language. Are we still having issues? I don't know if we're still getting hacked right now or not. We're trying to push on. We got 1,100 people between YouTube and Twitter right now. If you guys haven't already, please make sure that you like this video, that you share it out far and wide. We've been dropping content on a daily basis for you guys. A little bit of Q&A session right now. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Will you come to our Quantum Summit this June in Cape Canaveral and be a speaker, please? Matt, you can reach out to me on my website. Definitely will consider it. Haven't been to Florida ever. Be a lot of fun to go down to Florida. I don't know what you got going on down there. The Quantum Summit. That sounds cool. Yep, free airdrops. Yep. You're seeing airdrops. You're seeing pre-sales. And all that stuff's going to come over here to the XRP ledger. It's only going to accelerate and ramp up now that we're getting AMMs. And so the fix is live, guys. In 2 weeks, we got AMM back live. You have 2 weeks to prepare. And I will be dropping a video on how to do XRP ledger AMM. The video is titled How to XRP AMM. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I want to make it, it's going to be a very simple video. I'm going to explain it for everybody, show you how to do it, not to give you financial advice or tell you how you should be moving your money, just show you how it is possible, to show you how I have done it, right? And for me, I am so excited for the AMM to be going back live. But please remember, you got to be careful right now in the XRP community because this is all bringing more of the scams, the frauds, the folks that want to come and get our money. So watch out for the scammers out here. Crypto Mountain Man, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. Tyson or what is it, Jake Paul? Yeah, I think Tyson's going to get him pretty good. I think that Tyson's going to get him pretty good. He's still got it. Tyson's a beast and he's still very fit. And the whole world's going to be watching. I think, isn't it free on Netflix or something like that? Or I guess it's included in Netflix. Yeah, it's going to be a Netflix special. So you won't have to pay any extra. Just, you'll have to give the Netflix folks that, what is it, $20? Remember when Netflix was what, $5 a month? And they'd ship you the DVD? Back in the good old days, Netflix, wasn't it $5? What was the cheapest that Netflix ever was? See, this is how we really need to be tracking inflation. And this is back when they had to hold physical copies. Now they don't have to hold physical copies. They just stream it to us. Crazy. But they're struggling right now. Hollywood's struggling. Lobster scam coming to XRP. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of the similar a lot of people thought that Lobster was a scam. No, Lobster is just a tool. What the scam is all the tokens created on the Stellar network. That's where the scams are at. And if you're not paying attention, well, you can use Lobster to access the DEX on the Stellar network to send your money to a scammer. Same thing that you can use Zaman to send your money using the DEX to a scammer. This is why you need to know who your issuer is. And what I'm excited for is I think that we're going to see a class of issuers coming to the XRP ledger unlike any other blockchain. I mean, you're seeing that BlackRock, what did they just offer? Their tokenized deal in USDC, something like that, right? And they just had huge, massive inflows this week. You're going to see players like BlackRock and others that are going to be doing the tokenized funds, right? This is all, I mean, look at HSBC. They had their tokenized gold offering was available for institutional investors. Now they've gotten, what a shocker, what a great idea, right? How amazing. They actually get regulatory approval from the Securities and Commodities, Futures Commission over there in Hong Kong to list for retail to actually buy tokenized gold from HSBC. So now they're live for retail as well. And who's the custodian? HSBC is using Medico. Now been acquired by Ripple, and they did Luhu. Those self-sealing return envelopes were quality for Netflix DVDs. Simple times, man. Yeah, Chris, that's a great point. That's a great point, guys. The tokenized gold offering. I'm not saying that I would buy it, right? It's just another derivative. It's just another option that someone can get on gold. You guys know how I like my metals. You guys know what I like to be holding on to. and I actually like to be able to touch, right? If you don't hold it, do you own it? Now, when you're an institution, you got a different set of problems. And what many folks are going to find is that, yeah, it is easier for them to get tokenized shares of gold, and that's way more transportable. But you're always going to be opening yourself up to counterparty risk. I am so fascinated to think, to see who's going to be the leader for tokenized gold and silver. I'm so interested to see who it becomes. It's very simple. The largest vaults, the largest storage companies in the world for precious metals, right? They have the setting, they have the location, right? They have the facilities and the vaults and the programs already set up. They just need to come up with the offering. And you just have to be able to show that you got the gold, right? And I tell you what, we're about to find out who has the gold. We're about to find out who has the commodities, the real commodities that we actually need. We're about to find out who has the XRP that actually solves problems, right? Lou versus Wall Street. I think I've heard of that person. I don't know who that is. I don't know if I've heard of Lou versus Wall Street. Exodus Wallet. I have heard of them. I don't use them. Do I think that XRP supply will hinder it from scaling like other layer ones? Well, no, more supply just helps it scale, especially when it's effectively distributed by a responsible custodian of the reserve currency, Ripple. No, that just allows for more adoption. Just like has been highlighted in the case, right? Ripple was giving discounts to institutions and banks and institutional partners and market makers to help make these markets liquid, right? To get XRP into the hands of folks that were going to use it for its utility. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, though, going forward. I don't know if they're going to be able to... this is the big thing that we're waiting now on the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, is will they be able to sell to institutions going forward, and in what manner? It's going to be very interesting. X keeps freezing. Yeah, I don't know. They're saying tonight that we're having issues. They're saying tonight we're having issues, folks. Such a bummer that they're hacking us right now. So scarcity is not a factor in scalability. No, it is. The fact that it is plentiful, right? This is what they stated. They made so many tokens because they wanted it to be a reserve currency. That's straight from Brad Garlinghouse, right? They wanted to create 100 billion tokens so that they would have enough for a reserve currency. Scarcity is just going to impact price. If there's that lack of supply, right? That's what that leads to for a store of value aspect, which is the beautiful part about XRP is it has both. Has the store of value function, but then it also has a massive amount of utility. And you can keep on using it over and over again while still holding it as a store of value, right? Yeah, guys, so where are we at right now? We got March 28th. We are looking at this eclipse coming up on April 8th, and you've already seen what's taken place. I was just listening that we have two big, massive warships, big, massive ships that are actually now stuck in over there where the bridge collapsed, right? Over there where the bridge collapsed, we got two big ships that are stuck there behind the bridge, I guess. So, you know, as this events start to pick up and accelerate, we're going to find out how vulnerable we are. This is why it's time to button down the hatches and make sure that you are secure at home with your investments, with your business, with, you know, protecting your family. Now is the time to make sure that it's tight. What's your question, Blockchain Brain? I haven't seen it. Why do you rant on meme coins? We know they're not long-term like XRP, but they make massive short-term gains. That's what I do. Why are you so hard on that? I don't think that people are actually making a lot of money from meme. Like, you see 1% of the people that make money on meme coins actually make considerable gains. And a lot of people make considerable gains, but they invested $50. So if you turn $50 into 500, I guess that's fine. That's fantastic, right? But is it repeatable? Is it scalable? And did you actually put enough skin in the game to make a difference? That's my question, right? You know, is it a good use of your time? If you don't hate on it, right? It's just that way too many people participate and they want to tell stories. Oh, I made 10x. Dude, you turn that 1,000 into 10,000. And if you can do it a couple times, then we can talk, right? But folks get lucky on one token and then they get caught up chasing meme coins. It's not a serious strategy. It's only a serious strategy for those that dump on their community. I'm talking about like, you know, shills and these founders, right? Who just can go from one project to the next. Right? That's for the average Joe Blow that's exit liquidity, though, they're going to get caught off guard. Shell, give it a couple weeks, we'll see the effects of the bridge. It's going to take a long time to rebuild this thing, right? So it immediately already has a mass on with my setup here tonight. It's all glitchy. It's all hacked up tonight. So I don't know what's happening. I'm going to call it a session, though, because it appears that we're having issues, despite the fact we got over 1,000 people in the chat tonight between YouTube and Twitter. I really do appreciate everybody who made the time to stop by here tonight. I'm going to reset my systems and see if we can come back. We'll be back tomorrow morning, dropping a couple videos for you guys. And if you guys haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like this video. If you can help me out by sharing it out far and wide, I would greatly appreciate that. And all of our community resources are available at my website, zachrector.com. I appreciate everyone so much. I hope everybody has a fantastic night.